if you ever got to the point where you felt like you were running out of room for all of your silver, or running out of room for all of these safes which you store your silver in. There's a couple different things you can do to reduce the weight, reduce the bulk, and save space. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and staying safe. Today, I want to talk about silver and some ideas, some things you can do if you ever get to the point where you feel like you're running out of room for all of the coins, rounds, and bars that you've been stacking. But really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Also subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Brand new video over there, go check it out. The link will be in the description. And if you want to get some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel, I would really appreciate it. Any and all merchandise can be found by clicking the first link in the description section down below. Thank you in advance. It's more than appreciated. But today I want to talk about a couple of different things you can do if you ever feel like you're running out of room for all of the silver. Maybe you've been stacking for a couple of months, couple of years, couple of decades, and you filled up one safe and then you bought another safe and now you're filling that one up, and now you're not only running out of room for silver in your safes, but now you're running out of room for all the safes in your house. And by the way, this is video 2 of 2 for the day. I posted a video earlier this afternoon. It was a prepping product review video, and it was arguably the best prepping product review video I've made, not because I want to pat myself on the back for making such a great video, but because it's potentially the best thing that I've purchased in a very long time in regards to the prep, so you might want to go check out that video. But I wanted to talk about this today because this is not necessarily something that I'm going through, but it's something that I could potentially be going through one day in the future. If it gets to the point where I've accumulated so much silver, I've stacked up so much silver, so many silver bars, silver coins, silver rounds, bags upon bags upon bags of 90% junk constitutional silver, the Aztec calendar rounds, the sunshine bars, the Krakens, the junk silver, the everything. Little by little, it adds up over time. And if you are currently at the point where you feel like you've run out of room to get any more silver, the first thing you need to understand is that is a great problem to have. That's an excellent problem to have. There are so many people in the world who would kill to be in the position where they have so much money, they don't know where to put it. So rule number 1 is understand that's a good problem to have. But 2, obviously, here's a pretty simple answer, and I'm going to get into a much more strategic answer a little bit later into the video. But the first thing that I want to talk about is by buying the right safe. Now, there's a lot of people out there who don't believe in buying safes. If you're one of those people, then don't buy a safe. But the people who do pack their silver in safes, if it's a well-hidden safe, if it's heavy enough, in my opinion, I think if you're going to use a safe, it should be pretty much too heavy to even pick up when it's empty, let alone when it's weighted down by tons and tons and tons of silver and gold coins, rounds, and bars, or other miscellaneous things that you're stacking. And on top of that, once you weigh it down with all of these metals inside, I think it should be bolted down to the ground as well. So it should be well hidden, it should be too heavy to move around, and it should be bolted down to the floor just for safe measures. But if you are currently looking for a safe, if you're someone who maybe you want to buy a bigger safe to replace your current safe, or you want to buy a secondary safe, or who knows, maybe even a third safe, or maybe this is going to be your first safe, I think the best thing you could do when you're looking at different safes is to go with the one a little bit bigger than what you believe you need. For example, if you're looking at a small safe that you know wouldn't really do the trick, you're looking at a medium-sized safe, you're looking at a large safe, and then you're looking at a monster of a safe, and you think that the medium one is probably best suited for you, it seems the most logical, it seems the most reasonable, maybe the price is right, maybe you feel like you'd have an incredibly difficult time filling it up all the way to the top with silver. Maybe you're not stacking a whole lot of silver all at once, and you know that it would take you quite a while to fill up that medium-sized safe. You can absolutely go with that medium-sized safe, but if I were you, I would go with the large. And if your eyes were on the small one, the small safe, and you're like, yeah, that's all I really need, I would say probably go with the medium. And same thing moving up the ladder of different size safes. Again, make sure there's a spot where you can keep it well hidden. Make sure you are able to bolt it down to the floor. And if you don't have all that much silver to work with, and there's no way for you to weigh it down with all of the silver that you have, something that I've done is toss a couple of weight plates in the bottom. A 45-pound weight plate or two adds another 45 to 90 pounds to the entire thing. If you can't fit the 45s in there, maybe throw a couple of 25s in there. Every little bit helps. It weighs it down. But now for the more strategic answer or potential solution to the problem. If you feel like you're running out of room for all of the silver that you have, this is something that a lot of people talk about. Not a lot of people do, because the gold to silver ratio isn't really where we would normally want it to be. The gold to silver ratio currently is, about 1 to 70 or 1 to 80, somewhere within that range. Most of us, or I'll speak for myself, I would not want to convert one metal into the other until the gold to silver ratio is closer to 1 to 50, maybe 1 to 40. That would be even better. But an idea, even if the gold to silver ratio doesn't necessarily make sense, sometimes it doesn't need to make sense. Sometimes what needs to make sense is reducing the weight, reducing the bulk of the stack, and saving space, saving room. Sometimes that's the number one priority. So even if the gold to silver ratio gap is pretty spread out, kind of where it is right now, or where it was earlier in the year when we were looking at 1 to 100, that was arguably the worst time you could convert some silver into gold. But unfortunately, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes it's not completely your choice. You need to make a shift, or you need to change things up. And even if the ratio isn't where you would want it to be, sometimes the number one priority and objective is saving space and reducing the bulk. So if you have a bunch of silver in front of you, you could convert some of it. It doesn't have to be all of it, by the way. It doesn't have to be most of it. It doesn't even have to be half of it. It could just be a small portion of it. It could be 10% of it, or whatever you're comfortable with, just a small portion of the stack of silver. You take it on over to a local coin shop, or someone that you know that has gold and wants the silver, and you can make the transaction that way, and just do a simple swap. That's what I would do. In fact, that's actually what I plan on doing. I'll make this quick because I talk about this quite a lot, but ideally, in a perfect world, which I know we don't live in, but if we saw the silver to gold ratio gap close in significantly, I would like to take a little bit of my silver and trade it for a little bit of gold, and then rinse and repeat. If the gold to silver ratio gap spreads back out, I'll just go back to converting my dollars into silver. Gap closes in, trade a little bit of silver for a little bit of gold. Over and over and over. And years, decades down the road, maybe I can trade some of that gold for a little bit of land. And then I can lease the land for farming purposes, or I can invest in real estate. I could put a roof over someone's head and generate a little bit of cash flow for myself. And then we come around full circle. I could take that cash and convert it back into more silver. And then convert that silver into more gold. And maybe convert that gold into even more land or more real estate or something like that. That's just what I want to do. It might not align with your way of thinking, but that's why you're stacking for your reasons and I'm stacking for mine. My money is not your money is not my money. It doesn't really matter. We all have different goals. But the cool thing about trading gold for silver, or even just simply comparing gold to silver, is that it actually takes less gold to equate to a troy ounce than it would take for silver to equate to a troy ounce. So I don't have a 1 troy ounce gold coin. I do not own one, but I do own 1 ounce silver coins. Plenty of them. Now, if I were to have a 1 troy ounce gold kangaroo, same as this, but gold instead of silver, it would actually be a little bit smaller. And you'd be able to tell the difference in size, even though they weigh the exact same amount. They're different metals. they weigh different. It's like when they used to ask you, what weighs more, a pound of rocks or a pound of feathers? People who weren't thinking about it would say,
no, a pound of rocks, because rocks are heavier than feathers.
But the actual answer to the question is, they weigh the same exact amount because they're both a pound. A pound of this versus a pound of that. It doesn't matter. They're both a pound. It's both 2 pounds altogether if you combine the two. It could be a small rock and an entire bedroom packed with feathers. Doesn't matter how many rocks or how many feathers it takes. They both weigh a pound. So it goes for silver as well. Now I got to give a quick little shout out to Silver Switch for sending this my way. He sent me a 1/10 of an ounce silver round. Like I said, I do not have a 1 troy ounce gold coin or round or bar to work with, but I do have a 1/10 of an ounce gold coin, and we can compare it to this 1/10 of an ounce silver round. They're both a 1/10 of a troy ounce, but you can actually see that the piece of silver is actually a little tiny bit bigger than the piece of gold, but they weigh the exact same amount. They're both a 1/10 of a troy ounce, but they're different metals. So that's just, I guess, more of a fun fact than anything else. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can trade some of your silver for a little bit of gold. And not only does it reduce the weight and reduce the bulk, but if you are somehow able to time it right, now I don't necessarily recommend trying to time the market because that is not in your control, but if you happen to get lucky and you see an opportunity to trade one metal for the other, you can absolutely do that if that's what you want to do. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy with a camera, so don't take this as financial advice. Do your own research, form your own opinion, make your own decisions based off of your conclusions, not mine. But with the gold to silver ratio gap right now being about 1 to 70 or 1 to 80 or somewhere within that range, you can actually take about 70, 75, maybe 80 troy ounces of silver and trade it for 1 troy ounce of gold. If the gap were to close in, let's just say 1 to 50, you could take about 50 troy ounces of silver, 50 generic silver rounds or a 50-ounce silver bar or something like that, and trade it for a 1 troy ounce gold coin. Or you can break it down, do the math. Instead of trading 70, let's keep it at 70 right now. Instead of trading 70 troy ounces of silver for 1 troy ounce of gold, break it down. Divide it into tenths. 10% of that silver into 10% of that amount of gold. And you can get yourself a little 1/10 of an ounce gold coin. Now, with premiums, it might fluctuate. It might take a little bit more silver to cover the premium that fractional gold typically carries. But my message doesn't change. If you ever got to the point where you felt like you were running out of room for all of your silver, or running out of room for all of these safes which you store your silver in, there's a couple different things you can do to reduce the weight, reduce the bulk, and save space. And not only that, gold is unbelievably easy to hide. Gold is unbelievably easy to work with. Gold is unbelievably easy to transport and move around, because at the end of the day, look how small these little pieces of gold are. 10th ounce, quarter ounce. I do not own a 1 troy ounce gold coin, not yet anyway, maybe one day. I do have my eyes on a 1 troy ounce gold buffalo. I actually thought about getting it for myself this month, a 2020 1 troy ounce gold buffalo. I would consider it to be my 2020 survival badge, but then I thought, hey, you know what? I better not do that. I'm probably better off working with smaller increments of gold. That way I can get more silver as well. But I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know, what are your thoughts on some of the ideas that I shared in today's video? If you're someone who doesn't agree with having a safe and Trust me, there are people out there who don't believe in having a safe. Then don't get a safe. I don't really care what you do or where you store or where you hide your silver. It really doesn't matter to me. But when it comes to gold in comparison to silver, number one, silver takes up a lot of room. Especially if you are consistently stacking it for months, years, decades down the road. We're only maybe a week away from my 3-year stackiversary, so I've only been stacking for just about 3 years now. So I'm not anywhere near the point where I feel like I'm running out of room for all my silver. I have a bit of a ways to go. But if I were to trade not all, not most, not half, but a portion of my silver for a little bit of gold, it would reduce the weight, reduce the bulk, it would save space, and not only that, but silver is what I always referred to as the opportunity metal, and I've always referred to gold as the powerhouse metal. So I would be converting the opportunity metal into the powerhouse metal, and even if the gold to silver ratio is pretty far apart, there's really no losing if you think about it. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. Make sure you're doing your own research and make sure you know exactly what you're doing before you move your money or your currency around. But I'm curious to know, everybody watching this right now, what are your thoughts regarding ways of combating the issue, which could be running out of room for your precious metals? And if you guys want to join the Precious Metals VIP Club, it's where I can do things on my own terms, not on YouTube's terms, my terms. I'm hosting privately held live streams. They're smaller, easier to manage. I'm also doing giveaways, discounts, personalized promo codes, shout-outs, deal alerts when silver and gold is on sale on a variety of different websites. And of course, you can watch all of the YouTube videos commercial-free. Come join the Precious Metals VIP Club. It'll be the first link in the description. You're invited. I'd be happy to have you. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. If you guys like me, make sure to subscribe. New videos every single day, 365 days a year. Also subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Brand new video over there. Go check it out. The link will be in the description. Trying really hard to hit 2,000 subscribers. We just hit 1,500, and I appreciate that. And if you want to help support the channel in the biggest possible way, please consider getting yourself some DYDSS merchandise. Of course, we have some precious metal themed t-shirts and hoodies, which are up for grabs, along with a ton of other products, t-shirts, hoodies, even stickers, many of which are raising funds and awareness for different charity organizations, such as the recently released Kraken Stackin' t-shirt, hoodie, sticker, and coffee mug, inspired by the beautiful 2-ounce silver Kraken coin, which by the way is helping us raise a little bit of funds and awareness for ocean cleanup charity organizations. And of course the DYDSS Christmas line, which is helping us raise a little bit of funds and awareness for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Only available until Christmas, so get one while you can. Any and all merchandise can be found by clicking the first link in the description section down below. Thank you in advance. It's more than appreciated. And once again, I want to know your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas of ways that you can combat running out of room for your precious metals. There's a lot of people out there who might live in a pretty big house, and I think it's important to remember that you don't represent everyone out there. There's a lot of people out there who live in a small house or even a small apartment maybe. Maybe they don't have room for a safe the size of their refrigerator. Maybe they don't have space for all of that. So what are some ideas, some tactics, some tricks, some strategies that you would recommend to somebody who might feel like they're coming pretty close to running out of room for all of their silver? Would you recommend multiple safes hidden in separate parts of the house or separate parts of the apartment? Would you recommend converting some of that silver to gold to save some space? Or do you have a different idea? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.